Legendary rocker Kim Mitchell is joining us on the line. A sort of radio competition for me, actually. I'm not even sure. Is he allowed on our show? Yeah, I guess so. All right. Hey, Kim, how's it going? How are you?
I'm good, Jeremy. How are you?
Good. Now, this is really going to be a kick in the nuts for me if you increase my ratings by being on the show today. Then job security is at risk here, right?
Oh, not at all. No. We were talking about me being the radio announcer or a musician.
The radio thing. If it doesn't work out with me, I might get replaced. But anyway, fingers crossed. Radio can be all about music. So how did you get into broadcasting then after so many decades of being on the concert stage?
Well, I was looking for something to do, actually, Jeremy. On a Sunday, a Sunday night, I play a lot of resorts north and west and east of Toronto, and a couple hours north. And I've played those places so many times, and all the people are coming back from their cottages to the big city on Sunday. And I thought, gee, wouldn't it be nice to have a little radio show on Sunday nights or Sunday afternoons? And had a meeting with a radio station, a classic rock format, here in Toronto, and went. They thought it was a great idea, and then I didn't hear from them for I'd say 4 or 5 months. So I had pretty well forgotten about the whole idea. And then they called and said, "Would you like a full-time job in the afternoon? One of our guys is leaving." So that question, I asked another question saying, "Does this mean I have to come in every day?"
Right.
Because I had never had a job in my life other than being a guitar player. And I know many people don't think that's working, but, so I said, yeah, I would try this out. So that was 7 years ago. So I love it. The first thing that really hits you when you get into radio is that you have to develop a respect for the craft, that's for sure, because there actually is a craft involved in this. It's not just, it's not as simple as people think it would be.
You've got to entertain people, whether that's on stage or on the radio. I mean, that really is, a lot of pressure added to what you're doing.
Well, as you would know there's a certain pressure that comes with that, right? And a certain pressure to perform. Your listeners, either be on stage or to your radio listening audience, they don't really care what you. Well, it's not that they don't care what you've been through, but you have to put a lot of things aside and just you have to entertain. And there's, I've done that my whole life on stage, so the parallel was kind of a nice shift for me. It was pretty awesome, and I sort of rose to the challenge and did the work, and I really enjoy it. It's a great way to make some gas money.
Well, I think what's also funny too is that if you see job ads at radio stations, a lot of times it says that you have to have knowledge of the format. Well, who better?
Yeah.
Somebody
okay.
Somebody who's in music.
When it came down to classic rock, I grew up with. Not only did I grow up with that music, but I've played with a lot of these bands. I've not played in the bands, but I've opened up shows for them, from Van Halen to Bon Jovi to I can't even. There's so many of them. Ray Davies of the Kinks. There's just all kinds of bands I've opened up for and have sort of road stories. So I think it ended up working pretty good because I sort of brought something a little different to the station. They were thinking, I sort of commend them for thinking out of the box, but I brought something a little different that people sort of latched onto rather than the radio guy, quote unquote,
Right. All right, we've got to get back to the music, the top 40 music, by the way. More with singer, artist, and radio personality Kim Mitchell right after this. Jeremy Bradley back here on the show talking with Kim Mitchell, and in the last segment we were talking about the radio career, but Kim is also touring and doing everything else. I'm just going to ask him, how do you do it all?
I'm exhausted. As we're speaking right now, we just played a gig and last night and drove 5 hours to get there and drove 5 hours to get back, and my girlfriend's putting on a dinner party, and it's like I just want to go to bed and have a nap, But how do we do it? Well, because I love what I do, so I think that's most of it. And music rejuvenates me. Playing on stage is an absolute charge. If
all of the shows that you've played, then, is there one that sticks out in your mind as being the best, or maybe even the wildest? What's happened during some of the shows for you?
Oh, there's lots of them. For for different reasons too. Actually, we're coming to Winnipeg to the casino. I remember playing there on New Year's Eve and having an absolutely wonderful time at the casino. So I'm really looking forward to it. It was a beautiful stage, big lighting crew. The crew was great. The audience was a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's been other gigs that, touring across, United States and Europe with Rush and other bands like that. There's just, fun moments, just all kinds of stuff. It was just, it's been fascinating. And there's been some, kind of scary times too.
Like?
Well, I remember in Detroit, playing Detroit at Joe Louis Arena. We were the first rock band to play there. Actually, it was a Rush show. They were the first rock show in Joe Louis Arena, and we were the opener. So we were actually the first rock band in Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. So in between songs, the lights go out, and I'm playing, and I keep feeling something hitting me in the head, and then it hits me in the body, then it hits me, on the guitar. It's like snapping. 4 or 5 songs in, I look down, and there's bullets sitting on the ground. So
oh my God.
A guy was throwing bullets. Thankfully, he wasn't putting them in a gun. He was throwing bullets in between songs at me. And I just thought, who actually does that? Alice Cooper and I had a talk about this, that, when he was talking about the chicken that got thrown up on stage, like, who does that? You go, okay, I got my concert ticket, okay, I got my things, okay, I got the chicken, okay, I got my box of bullets to throw at the opening act. Who does that?
Well, I mean, you know what? We've seen that at hockey games. Wasn't it an octopus or something that always got thrown on the ice?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about us human beings when we do that. And then to top it off, sort of the craziest thing was, when you're an opening act, you can't park inside. So we're parked out in the parking lot of the Joe Louis Arena. So I said, I'm going to get the van. We're just in a van, the headline act is in a tour bus and everything. But so we're in this van. I said, I'll go get the van and bring it up, and we can put our stuff in at the door. And I see 2 guys are breaking into the van. What do? I run up to them yelling. And as I sort of standing there, I grabbed one of them and pulled them back, and they took off. But then after I thought, what an idiot. Here I am in Detroit, in the dark, in a parking lot, with 2 guys robbing my van. What am I doing even running up to them and saying, hey, what are you doing?
So when I asked you about the scariest moment, you could have summed it up with one word by saying Detroit. Really, I mean...
I could have. But you know what? I was born and raised just sort of 45 minutes from Detroit, so I have a love for the city also.
True.
Hey, I grew up on Motown music and the Detroit rock scene, There was quite a nice rock scene. Bob Seger, the MC5, all kinds of stuff, Ted Nugent, and then the Motown stuff was just beautiful.
Well, thanks for finally joining us today, right?
Yeah, thanks. And I'm sorry it took us so much time to look up to your listeners. It was pretty funny. We've been trying to connect for, I'd say, a couple weeks now, haven't we?
It's been a while, but that's the thing, is that you anticipate it and you appreciate it even more when it does happen, right? There's always a silver lining.
Well, I certainly have enjoyed speaking with you.
Well, thanks so much, Kim, and I guess we'll see you in Winnipeg here.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Thanks, take care.
Today's best music with Jeremy Bradley.